All right. So I was assigned private label and store brands for my topic, for my practice of the fashion industry. And here we go. So the article started off by talking about how the creation and development of an apparel line occurs two ways. There's the traditional design development, which is where the garment carries the brand name or the designer brand. And then it's where the design, development, marketing, and production involves several profit-making steps, including sewing by a contractor and selling by a sales representative. So with this way, the final price of a product reflects the number of profit-making steps there are in the chain. So it's more expensive for consumers, and there's more steps to go through. There's more people who are splitting up the profits and things like that. And so the other way the apparel line occurs is the private label product development or the store brand product development. They're used interchangeably. And this is basically the retailer's way to reduce costs and increase their share of the profit. They get rid of a lot of those profit-making steps, minimize that so that they can have more money, so that they can sell cheaper products to their consumers. And all around, most people are happier with this approach. And there's three ways that they do it. There's specification buying, there's co-branded apparel, and there's manufacturing designs. That one actually didn't really have a name. The article just talked about it, so I just called it manufacturing designs, just so you know. But specifications buying is where the retailer provides garment specifications, and then the manufacturer or the sewing contractor creates it. So this is really good for the retailer, obviously, because they have no intermediaries to deal with. They can avoid miscommunication, and they don't have to share profits with anyone. So they really like this. But then it's bad for the contractor because it carries financing for materials during production. So they're paid for labor and materials instead of just labor, like the conventional market channel. So it's not as good for them with that. And some examples of this are Target, JCPenney, and Nordstrom. These retailers have their own product development departments for developing their store brand merchandise. So they're able to get their own merchandise for that. And then the other two types are co-branded apparel and then manufacturer. The co-branded apparel is pretty much exactly what it sounds. It's where the retailer and the manufacturers collaborate to create the retailer's line. And Bloomingdale is an example of that. They have a joint venture with Tahari, an apparel company. The article didn't spend so much time on this one, and I'm starting to think maybe it's because it's not as common that they collaborate like this, just because that involves more communication, and I think it might just be more burdensome for both retailer and manufacturers instead of having set jobs for both of them. But I don't know, that's just a guess. But the other one is manufacturer or the contractor designs the entire program for the retailer, which is obviously good for the retailer because the apparel company handles all of the production and they don't have to oversee anything for that. So it's good for them. They just pay them to do it. And this is kind of like the most common one in the apparel industry. An example of this is Nike. Their company develops special lines for other sports specialty stores carrying their label. So they create their own labeling, obviously. They're a company for their own labeling, but then they also make stuff for other stores for them to carry their label. So that's an example of this. And then disadvantages and advantages for this. What was funny about this is when I was doing the article, there was only one disadvantage that I could find in the whole sheet. The section on advantages and disadvantages, each paragraph was an advantage, and at the very end there was like a 3-sentence paragraph about one disadvantage, which I think says something really important. And some of these advantages we've already talked about, but here's a few more. They said how it makes differentiation between a national brand and a private brand label difficult to discern. So in essence, a consumer could purchase a private label polo shirt for less than the national brand, and it looks just like it. So consumers like this because they get cheaper clothes that look just like the real things. Also, a good marketing strategy is that retailers link their private label lines to celebrities, which I think is what makes it more popular, and that's why retailers are kind of going off their own with just manufacturers instead of doing the whole process, the profit-making process, or whatever you call it. And then quality private label products are offered at a good price. So it offers consumers value, which is what they really want. They want good products at a good price. And it makes them loyal to that company. And retailers now have the closest tie to consumers because they got rid of all those steps and all of those communication barriers. They're now really close to them. But no, it didn't. But the disadvantage, the one disadvantage that I was able to find, is that the retailer takes all the risk. Because the retailer is doing most of the work now, they take the risk. So if something doesn't sell, if consumers don't like something, then they're the ones who suffer the loss. They don't get a profit from it. And then the future of this. So the private label business continues to expand because all the risk in selling is in the retailer's hands. And it's really, the risk is lessened because basic goods compared to fashion goods have long-term sales potential. So they'll still be able to sell it sometime, even if it's not popular at that moment. And then the growth of off-price stores and factory outlet malls have increased. This was really seen where I'm from in Nebraska, where I grew up. There was an outlet mall that opened, and pretty much all of the other malls that were around us went out of business because everyone was going to this outlet mall because the quality was about the same, but the price was so much cheaper. And so I feel like this will continue to grow and that everything might just actually switch over to this because it's better prices for consumers and the retailers profit more. So it feels like it's good all around. So I was surprised that this article didn't have disadvantages, and it just really seems like the best option. So that is private labels.